What's going on? Dimitri Subas here, owner and operator of Strength Shaman Personal Training, back at you with another week and another newsletter. This week I watched an interesting video on how to achieve ambitious goals. I know if you're like most people out there, you probably have some goals of your own and some things that you're shooting for. Now, watching this video took me back to a place when I first started this blog. I think one of my very first few posts. And it talked about this idea of Kaizen, or this notion of making small improvements to lead to these big outcomes or these big changes. In the TED Talks, I don't want to spoil it for you, but he talks about making marginal improvements or small little things and having these drastic outcomes come from it. And he uses some pretty powerful examples. But this related back to me as a football player, and I'll just give you a quick kind of testimony of how I saw things, because the thing about playing offensive line is the footwork, the technique, all of it is the same. Doesn't matter if you're a high school football player, a college football player, or even a professional football player. The complexity of some of the schemes and the nuances of the game might elevate, but the basic fundamental principles always remain the same. The footwork, the technique, the stance, it's all the same basic stuff. But what separates a high school football player from a professional and vice versa? Well, I would argue that it's all about marginal gains, doing things 2 to 3% better, and that's going to lead to those big outcomes that you want. So if you have these big ambitious goals, it's fun to kind of play around with them in your mind, but always think about how you're getting there and what can I do to make that just a little bit better, maybe 1 or 2%. And trust me, those 1 or 2% are going to really start to add up over time, especially if you can remain consistent. Hopefully that gets you thinking about how you can create the most efficient and effective path to accomplish your goals, and it inspires you to take action and make something a little bit better in your life. Thanks for watching the video. Please stay tuned because I try to send these bad boys out every week. If you like the content, please share it or do anything you can to help get the word out. I appreciate you watching. Stay tuned for another episode next week.